Crisis Freshwater. That is the title of this passage. Let's examine the questions and solve the questions. We have questions 1 to 5, true, false, not given. Then 6 to 10, matching information questions. And then we have gap filling or summary completion questions from 11 to 13. So let's take it one by one. Number 1 says the prospects for the need of fresh the prospects for the need for fresh water worldwide is obscure. Okay. Then for the matching statements, for the matching information questions, there are so many things here. So let me just start with the passage. So I'll read the passage, I'll read paragraph A, solve what I can solve, come back to the passage, read paragraph B, solve what I can solve, then go on like that until I finish everything. Now, as in New Delhi and Phoenix, policymakers worldwide wield great power over how water resources are managed. A-R-E, that's what should be there. Wise use of such power will become increasingly important as the years go by because the world's demand for fresh water is currently overtaking its ready supply in many places, and this situation shows no sign of abating. So there's water problem everywhere, and policymakers need to use their powers to deal with the problem. Okay. Number 1, the prospects for the need for fresh water worldwide is obscure. I don't think we can answer this number 1 based on that. If I cannot answer number 1 based on that, then number 2 to 5 cannot be answered. Matching information. There is even distribution of water. Okay, there's nothing about distribution of water in paragraph A. Other factors regarding nature, no. Bothering people who make policies. The only thing I saw here is that policy makers with power. They didn't talk about factors bothering them in this paragraph A. They didn't talk about factors bothering them. Number 8, joint effort needed to carry out the detailed solution. No. Joint efforts will probably mean that, okay, the paragraph should tell us about what governments and maybe people and maybe different organizations need to do. That's what joint effort means. But I didn't say that in paragraph A. Number 9, rainfall. I didn't say rainfall in this paragraph A. Number 10, lower limit of the amount of fresh water a person needs. No, that's not in paragraph A. Matching the summary completion part. Many severe problems like starvation and military action. There's nothing like starvation here. Let's move on to the next paragraph. But that the problem is well known makes it no less disturbing. Well known. That's the opposite of obscure. Number 1 says the prospect for the need for fresh water worldwide is obscure. No, it's not obscure. It is well known. The need for water. What problem are they referring to here? The problem of what's it called? Water. Look at it from paragraph 1. The increasing demand for what? For fresh water. The demand for fresh water is currently overtaking the supply in many places. That's the problem. And they say that problem is well known. So it is not obscure. Number 1 is false. It is not obscure. So that the problem is well known makes it no less disturbing. Okay? Today, 1 out of 6 people, more than a billion, suffer inadequate access to safe fresh water. By 2025, according to data released by the United Nations, the freshwater resources of more than half the countries across the globe will undergo either stress, for example, when people increasingly demand more water than is available, or safe for use, or outright shortage. So either stress or outright shortage. By mid-century, that's by 2050, as much as 3/4 of the Earth's population could face scarcity of fresh water. Okay, so looking at this paragraph B, let me see the questions I can answer. Number 2 says, to some extent, the challenge for fresh water is alleviated by common recognition. What is the meaning of common recognition? It means that everybody recognizes that there's a problem. So if many people or everybody recognizes that there's a problem with the supply of fresh water, does that alleviate the problem? Um, the problem that the problem is well known makes it no less disturbing. That's somehow contradicting number two. In fact, so this interesting. This paragraph B, this statement here, seems like it's helping us to answer both question one and question two. To some extent, the challenge for fresh water is alleviated by. It's not alleviated. The fact that we all know the problem does not mean it would be dealt with. Because these are by 2025, freshwater sources will undergo stress. By mid-century, 3/4 of the world population will face scarcity. So the problem is going to get worse, even though we all know it. So this issue of alleviated, I don't think is accurate. It's going to be false. It's going to be false. Then matching information, uneven distribution, no. Issue of distribution did not show up here. Other factors regarding nature, bordering policy, they didn't mention people that make policies in paragraph B. Joint efforts. The issue of joint efforts is not showing up here. No always in time match. No. Rainfall is not mentioned here. Lower limits. Amount of water required. No. Let's move on to paragraph C. Scientists expect water scarcity to become more common in a large part because the world's population is rising. Can you see? That further supports our answer for number two. That the challenge for freshwater is not getting alleviated anytime. It's not getting alleviated. It's getting worse, even though we all know about it. So scientists and experts expect the problem to become what? To become more serious. And mainly because the world's population is rising and many people are getting richer, thus expanding demand. And because the global climate change is exacerbating aridity. You know the meaning of exacerbating? Exacerbating means you are worsening a problem. A particular problem is getting worse. It's getting more serious. That's the meaning of exacerbating. So what's more, many water sources are threatened by faulty waste disposal, releases of industrial pollutants, fertilizer runoff, coastal. So these are the problems contributing to the scarcity of fresh water. These are the things they are mentioning here. Does that help us answer any question? Number 3 says researchers arrive at the specific conclusion about water crisis based on persuasive consideration of several factors. These are the factors. These factors are they mentioned there. Faulty disposal, releases of industrial pollutants and everything. So this number 3 is going to be true. It's going to be true. Matching information. I don't think there's anything I can answer based on this paragraph C. Distribution was not mentioned there. It is about what will happen in the future and what is causing the scarcity. So they didn't mention distribution here. Number 7, other factors regarding nature. No, all these other factors bothering people that make policies. Are these the other factors regarding the people that make? They didn't mention people that make policies here. These are factors that contribute to that are contributing to water scarcity. Okay, let me leave. I don't think because of this issue of people who make policies, it's not mentioned in this paragraph C. Number 8, joint efforts. They didn't mention joint efforts here. Rainfall was not mentioned here. Lower limit required to survive. No. Starvation and military action. I've not seen anything like that. Now I can see starvation in paragraph D. Because lack of access to water can lead to starvation, disease, political instability, and even armed conflict, failure to take action can have broad and grave consequences. Hold on, number 11. Many severe problems like starvation and military action That's a paraphrase for armed conflict, military action. Military action results from the storage of water, which sometimes for some areas seem dash. Severe problems like this results from the storage of water, which for some areas seem dash because of unavailability, but other regions suffer other kind of scarcity. Okay, what kind of scarcity are they talking about here? Let me go back to the passage. Seem dash, which for some areas seem dash. Let me go back to the passage from this point. Fortunately, to a great extent, the technologies and policy tools required to conserve existing fresh water, and to secure more of it are known, among which several seem particularly effective. What is needed now is action. Government and authorities at every level have to formulate and execute plans for implementing. This is the one that says joint action. This is a government and authorities at every level. That's a lot of that's joint action I'm seeing there. I have to formulate and execute plans for implementing the political, economic, and technological measures that can ensure water security now and in the coming decades. Which statement? Where is that statement about joint action? Number 8. Joint effort is needed to carry out a detailed solution combined with various aspects. Can you see various aspects here? This various aspect is referring to economic, political, and technological. Various aspects. Joint effort is referring to the fact that, okay, formulate and execute plans for implementing. Can you see? And then um, joint effort needed. Joint effort also means what? Okay, government and authorities need to work together. So that paragraph D matches well with statement 8. Matches well with statement 8. What of the true false not given? The fact that people do not actually cherish the usage of water. Cherish the usage of water, scarcity. Cherish the use of water, is it causes scarcity? Something is missing in this sentence. Let me go on. Paragraph E now. The water problem require as a start an understanding of how much fresh water each person requires, along with the knowledge of factors that impede supply and increase demand. The main Falcon of the Stockholm International Water Institute and other experts estimate that on average, each person on the earth needs a minimum. Oh, that's number number 10. Number 10, that's matched to paragraph E. A minimum, the lower limit of the amount of fresh water that for a person, the lower limit for the amount of fresh water for a person to survive. That's it. 1,000 cubic meters. We got that in paragraph E. So number 10 should be paragraph E. So moving on, paragraph F now. Much of the Americas and northern Eurasia enjoy abundant water supplies, but several regions are beset by greater or lesser degrees of physical scarcity. Other regions suffer another kind of scarcity. Hold on. Several regions are beset by greater or lesser degrees of physical scarcity, whereby demand exceeds local availability. Other areas, among them Central Africa, parts of India, some continents, and Southeast Asia, contend with economic water scarcity. So there's physical scarcity and there's economic scarcity. Look at this number 11. Many severe problems like starvation and military action result. It is a result from the shortage of water, which sometimes for some areas seem physical. So this shortage of water can be physical, that is scarcity of water can be physical or economic, which for some areas seems physical because of unavailability. That's it. Local demand exceeds local availability. That's what we are seeing here. Whereby demand exceeds local availability. In other words, water is not available around us. That's why there's scarcity. But for those Southeast Asia, there's actually water available to them. But it says that what? Economic water scarcity limits access, even though sufficient supplies are available. This one is going to be physical. Physical. The other one that they did not write about, they said, but other regions of another kind. This another kind is the economic one. This one is this is a very interesting passage. Interesting in the sense that it's kind of tough. Paragraph G now. More than half of the precipitation that falls on land is never available for capture or storage because it evaporates. Hold on. So, for inefficient support, because other regions of another kind of scarcity for inefficient support, dash of the rainfall can't be achieved. Capture. Is it capture of the rainfall? This place says that what? Capture is never available for capture or storage. How many words are we to write? No more than 3 words. We have to write all the 3. That would be capture or storage of the rainfall. Capture or storage. Capture or storage of the rainfall can't be achieved. Can't be achieved. Okay. Some other parts form the dash, which can be used immediately. Okay, I use that. Okay, so because it evaporates from the ground and transpires from the plant, this fraction is called blue water sources, rivers, lakes, wetlands, and aquifers that people can tap directly. Tap directly is a paraphrase for used immediately. People can use them immediately. So this is going to be blue water, number 13. Some other parts form the blue water sources. Blue water sources. Or we can say blue water. Any one of the two will be correct. Some other parts form the blue water. Blue water. BLUEWATER. WATER. Blue water. Then let's move on. Let me check the yes or not. True, false, not given. The fact that people do not actually cherish the usage of water scarcity. This number 4. The sentence is somehow. So, farm irrigation from these free-flowing bodies is the biggest single human use of freshwater resources. But the intense local demand they create often drains the surroundings of ready supplies. Lots of water, but not always where it is needed. 110,000 cubic. Hold on. Lots of water, but not always where it is needed. Where's the matching information? On time. This one. Number 9. No always in time match available between the requirements and the actual rainfall. So the actual rainfall is lots of water. Water is falling because the next sentence says precipitation. Precipitation refers to rainfall. Rainfall. That is the meaning of precipitation. If you look at it, look at the Google definition of rainfall. Can you see? Rainfall. Precipitation stands for what? Rain, snow. Can you see at the bottom? So this number 9 is going to be matched to paragraph H. Paragraph H. So it says that 110,000 cubic kilometers of precipitation, nearly 10 times the volume of Lake Superior, falls from the sky onto the Earth's land surface every year. This huge quantity would easily fulfill the requirements of everyone on the planet if the water arrived where and when people needed it. But much of it cannot be captured, and the rest is disturbed or distributed unevenly. Where is that one of uneven? Number 6, the uneven distribution of water around the world. This distribution is, I think it means that some parts of the world have plenty water and other parts do not have plenty water. This distribution here, this distribution that they are talking about here is referring to rainfall. Number 6, uneven distribution of water around the world. Let me go back a little bit. These are parts of the world they are mentioning here. Central Africa, Southeast Asia. That one refers to different parts of the world. Much of the Americas and North Eurasia enjoy abundant water supplies, but several regions are beset by greater or lesser degrees of scarcity, physical scarcity. This one is the uneven distribution. This F is better than this than this H. I'm going to pick F for number 6, uneven distribution of water around the world, because it talks about it mentions different regions here. And this H is referring to rainfall. It's referring to precipitation, because that's how the paragraph starts. So I don't think H should be matched to number 6. Okay, let's read on. So it says that I think I stopped there. But much of it cannot be captured, and the rest is disturbed or distributed unevenly. Green water, 61% of total precipitation, absorbed by soil and plants, then released back into the air, unavailable for withdrawal, 38%, and then collected in rivers and lakes and wetlands and groundwater, then available for withdrawal before it evaporates or reaches the ocean. So different categories of water. These figures may not add up to 100% because of rounding. Only 1.5% is directly used by people. So, which other matching info? Number 7 says other factors regarding nature bothering people who make policies. People who make policies did not show up here. No. What of? I've solved everything here. True, false, not given. I've not seen anything for this number 4. Number 5, controversy. Controversies can be avoided for adjacent nations. Adjacent nations means nations that are side by side. I've not seen anything about adjacent nations yet. Paragraph I. Water has run away in tremendous wildfires in recent years. The economic actors had all taken their share reasonably enough. They just did not consider the need of the natural environment, which suffered greatly when its inadequate supply was reduced to critical levels by drought. This number 4, I'll just pick not given for it. I'm not sure. Let me continue. The members of the Murray-Darling Basin Commission are now frantically trying to extricate themselves from the disastrous results of their misallocation of the total water resource, given the difficulty of sensibly apportioning the water supply within a single nation. Imagine the complexities of doing so for international river basins such as that of Jordan River, which borders on Lebanon, Syria. These are adjacent nations. All these nations that they are writing here, Lebanon, Syria, Israel, they are neighboring nations. They are adjacent nations. So that's number 5. Controversy can't be avoided. Yeah, these guys will always have conflict. They've always been fighting. This number 5 is going to be true. Controversies can be avoided over the water resource. The water resource here is the Jordan River. That's the water resource. I have number 7 left. Other factors regarding nature bothering people who make policies. People who make policies. What are the other factors? I'm not sure of any other They didn't mention other factors here. Other factors regarding nature. The struggle for fresh water has contributed to civil and military disputes in the area. Can you see that? Further supporting our answer for number 5. So, this number 7, I'm not sure what to match it to. Other factors, I saw some factors earlier on. Where is that paragraph where I saw some factors? Other factors regarding nature. I saw earlier on. Yes, this one, this place here. But this one is not, all these factors here are not natural things. Waste disposal is an artificial thing. Human beings do it. Release of industrial pollutants, human beings do it. So that thing says other factors regarding nature. Or maybe nature is about um, rainfall. Wait, let me go back to that paragraph. Natural environments. They just did not consider they. Who is the they? The economic actors. Other factors bordering people who make policies. Oh, these are the people that make policies. They did not consider the needs of the natural environment. Huh. Wildfires. That's a factor. Drought. Oh, that's a factor. Number 7 is high. Match number 7 to high. So, I think I've solved everything. Yeah, I've solved everything. Let's submit and see what my score will be. Submit. Okay, the stuff is rolling. Let's wait. Be patient. So, I got one question wrong. Which one? Number 12. Capture of shortage. No, 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 no. Is capture or shortage? That's what they wrote in the passage. Capture or shortage. That's what is in the passage. Look at it here. Where is it now? It says plenty of rainfall happens, but because of capture, look at it here. Capture or OR. That's it. So all my answers are correct. Capture or shortage. This is a very tough one. You see, it took a lot of time. But it's okay. I guess this must have been a passage 3 question. All right. Thank you very much. See you during the next lesson.